Okay, so this lesson is about solutions to linear equations in two variables. The objective is about find solutions to linear equations in two variables and graph the solution in a coordinate plane. All right, uh, so first we'll start with this introduction. You're going to evaluate the expression. That means substitute what they give you there for x into here, and this is what you get. That's what evaluate means. So if you put a 1 for x, that's 1. What that says, in case you can't read it, is 1/2 x plus 9. Okay, and here we just have one variable, right? So we're just making sure you know how to do this. So if you multiply 1/2 by 1, that's 1/2. Plus 9 is 9.5. What if the x is -1, like here? Well, that would make that -1/2 if you put a -1 right here, right? And you have to multiply it. That's what they're telling you to do when they stick it right next to it, is to multiply. 1/2 times -1 is -1/2. So that's going to give you 8.5. Before you added it, and here you you subtract it because it became negative when you multiplied it times the -1. The next one is 1/2. Well, 1/2 times 1/2, 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, because you multiply it. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4. That gives us 1/4, and 9 plus 1/4 is 9 1/4. All right, here they want you to multiply it times 1/2 times a -4. So if it's a whole number, then you're just going to multiply the top by it. So that's 1 times a -4 is a -4. -4 over 2 means that you divide -4 by 2. That gives you a -2. Because 2 goes into 4 2 times, right? So that's a -2 plus 9. It's like you owe $2, you have $9, so you really just have $7 because you paid off what you owed of the -2. Or you can think of the difference between 2 and 9 as 7. The smaller number is negative, so the larger number takes the positive. So that's +7. Here you have 4/5. So that if you substitute that for x, that's 1/2 times. That's what it means when x is stuck right next to it. It means multiply. These are just commands, like when you hit enter in your computer. Right beside it means multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. And so you have 4/10, which you can reduce by 2 since they're both even. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And you add it to 9, so you get 9 2/5. Okay, so that's how you do that. This lesson, again, is going to be about the doing the exit ticket. Today, we will represent situations like this with equations and learn to find solutions to those equations. So you're going to determine what makes an ordered pair a solution to a linear equation in two variables. Normally, a solution to two unknowns would require two equations. So let's look and see how they're going to do it. What I want you to do for engagement is to be writing me notes like check-ins like you would and take on your take notes on a piece of paper in a class. Uh, okay. So, the question is, can you score exactly 32 points? And yes, if you shoot for two, right? And two, and three does not go into 32. Three does not go into 32 evenly, but actually you could do like 4 3s to make 12, and that would, you could do 4 3s to make 12, and then the rest twos, or you could do 8 2s to make 12. I mean, 8 3s to make 12. 3 plus 3, you could do 2 3s for 6, and the rest two. So you could do a combination of threes, right? And there are quite a few different ways you can do it. All right. So there are quite a different solutions for those. And these are some questions. Do you think there are other ways to score 32 points that we did not find? Have you thought of all the possibilities? Put them in chat as to how many possibilities. If we represent the situation algebraically, what would be our unknown in this situation? Well, it would be how many numbers of 2 and 3 point shots you have, right? That's what we're thinking now when we say, well, you could have 6 of this or 3 of that. Let X represent the number of 2 point shots, and you could represent the, how can we represent the number of points scored by 2 point shots with an expression? And 3x would be it. And the number of 3 point shots we could represent with another letter, such as 3y. It could be any letter. So then the solution for this would be how many 2 points, how many y points equal 32. These are only linear expressions, right? Because they don't have exponents on the letters. The x or the y does not have a little number up there. It doesn't have an exponent. When a solution to equation has two values, we can write the solution as an ordered pair. What ordered pair is represented by the third row of the table? So we didn't make a table, but supposing that we had made a table of okay, so here was the table, the number of 2 point shots and the number of 3 point shots. If we made a table with those, and it doesn't give us one, but suppose we had 7, 7 and 6. The first number stands for X, like in a point on a coordinate plane. And the first number stands for 7. The second number stands for 6. Let's substitute those in there. So we have 2 times 7. That would give us 14. Plus 3 times 6. That would give us 18. 14 plus 18 is 32, right? Because 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry the 1. That makes 3. So that would be an example. And they did that by guessing. And normally you have to have two equations if you're going to do it algebraically. So now you're going to find out that there are infinitely many solutions to a linear equation in two variables. all of which lie on a line when graphed. So again, there's an infinite number of solutions because they graph like a line, and a line goes on and on. It's not a line segment, right? So that's why there are infinite solutions, and it graphs like a line because it has X and Y coordinates, just like on a coordinate plane, like Battleship. If you ever play that game, once you find more points that follow the pattern, what do you think they will look like on a graph? I think they will lie on the same line. Okay, so yes. And what do you notice? All the points appear to lie on a line. If you graph all of those points, they will lie on a line. So can you think of any other solutions to x plus y equals 5 that are not shown here? And so you can pretty much, any value you substitute for x, you just would be taking that away from 5 when you bring it over here. You could also say y equals 5, take away x. And for any value you substitute for x, you get a y value. You can put any number in there and then find out what y would be. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. So graphing solutions. How can you find the y value when the x value is a -1? Like I said, you can just substitute that in there. What about for 2? You could substitute 2 into the equation for y and then find the x. So you can choose any random point, substitute it for one of them, and find the other value. Can a point on the line have an x coordinate of 40? What would be its y coordinate? Yes, you could substitute 40, okay, into the equation. And here, let's look at this. So here's the equation right here. They give you equation. So if you substitute any number you substitute for x, you'll multiply it, you'll take it away from both sides, and then you'll have a negative y. So you just switch, you would divide by -1 both sides. So it would just be the opposite sign. It would be the opposite sign from the one that you have when you subtract it. So yes, you can substitute any number in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the exit ticket. So if 2, let's enlarge this. So is 3, 2 a solution to the equation 3x take away 2y equals 10? Well, you would have to substitute it in there and see if it equals. So let's do it. They already tell us what they did here. What they did here is they said substitute 3/2 for xy. So you substitute 3 for x. Here's the equation. 3x take away 2y. So to find out if it's a solution, what that means is if you put this point in for x and y, will you get 10? That's what that means when they say, is it a solution? So you take the x, which is 3, and you're going to multiply, because that's what it means when it's stuck together like that. It means multiply. Take away 2 times 2. So that's 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Take away 4 would give you 5. And that 5 is not equal to 10. Therefore, there is no solution. Okay, so I want you to work on your exit ticket and to submit that. Complete any unfinished work as well. And that's the assignment for today.